Hello there, everyone. It's me again. So, this is a story about a Southern Pacific locomotive that was built on January 16th, 1941, and all the way down to 1955 when all of them were retired. So, yeah. This is the story about it. In January 16th, 1941, in Lima Locomotive Works in Lima, Ohio, the beautiful Southern Pacific GS4 Daylight number 4444 was built. He was a big locomotive that ran for hot life. And this locomotive was a kind and caring locomotive for all the SP locomotives. Southern Pacific number 4444 was known as the Daylight's own engine that ran from every part of the main line, but he was a hard worker, but all that changed. In 1942, Southern Pacific number 4446 got into a big accident. Southern Pacific number 4446 was known as Donovan. He crashed off the rails from a malfunctioned switch. Well, actually, the cause of it was a passenger train. He ran into the back of the passenger cars, colliding and crashed off the rails and hit a sharp part that impaled his face, and his boiler exploded after that. But there was hope for that engine. After the accident of Southern Pacific number 4446, aka Donovan, he was unrepaired. He was not able to be repaired anymore. But there was hope. The railroad men wanted Southern Pacific number 4444 to have the honor and have the number to serve with the honor of 4446. 4446's number was the permanent number on 4444, and he loved it. He was glad to have the celebration for his own friend. 4444 didn't meet 4446 though. He was glad to have the number for him, and he was happy. But all that started to change. In 1955, all the locomotives were withdrawn from scrap, but 4446 didn't like that. 4446 was really upset because of that. Instead of the engines, they replaced them with diesels. 4446 was going to be repainted into the black and silver colors like all the other engines. But the railroad men were doing the change to color the locomotive into BNSF colors that a certain locomotive number 4413 had. Southern Pacific number 4413 had a train that goes by Portland, Oregon, and they want 4446 to take a train near the Portland, Oregon Railroad. But this would be the last day that 4446 would be around. 4446 had been having a lot of accidents. He was known as a hooted or jinx locomotive of a rolling disaster, whether he liked it or not. But that day is still part of him. He has never been forgotten after the days of all his accidents. But in May 15, 1955, he was taking a freight train. But there was another freight train up ahead of him, and when he saw this, everything happened at once. Southern Pacific number 4446 crashed into a freight train. The impact was strong enough to send him flying off the rails on his side. As well, 4449 had to go at the same accident site that the real 4446 had. But there was trouble. Sean, a Southern Pacific 4445 GS4, ran into the breakdown train, causing So Fast to go flying off the platform of it and crashed down to the ground, and his boiler exploded on the inside. After the accident, 4446, aka So Fast, was unrepairable at the first. But when 4449 was fully retired, he almost forgotten about So Fast. But when the newspapers came in, everything was gone, and So Fast snapped. Because of the jinx that has been cursing him, he is now known as Dread 46. Because of that, Dread 46 has scary appearances. Red eyes, red lights, red smoke, and 2 demonic red eyes. And his top front light underneath his bottom one is also red and also demonic. It was a demonic third eye, had a little bit of a light, a little bit of a white glow. But as well for Sean, the same thing. Red lights, red smoke, red eyes, and red lights. And demonic red eyes. Same thing of a demonic pupil on his front top light. But when all this did happen, he and them, actually both of them, were not happy. Dread 46 was also the leader of the other ghost trains. Because of the accident, though, the engines have 4s on them. If another locomotive does have a 4 or a 6, or just 1 4 on its tender, or 3 4s, or just 1 6, or 2 6s, or 60, they will be taken away with Dread 46. And if an engine like Sean has number 5, Dread 46 will never stop until then. He wanders every day, trying to find peace, but disappears into thin air of the accident occurring. He'll show up at the same accident site with his train, but leaves a pile of broken parts everywhere from the accident. If you're lucky, but you won't. Dread 46 has a hooter whistle that is from Norfolk and Western 1218. So Fast's original whistle was a Southern Pacific Desert 5 chime. It was also part of a Star Brass 5 chime, but this is the noise that you're about to hear from Dread 46. When you hear that whistle blowing through the distance, you'll see and when you do hear the whistle, he'll be coming towards you and disappearing to thin air of the accident occurring. And there's war. When you hear that 1218 hooter whistle, try to close your eyes and block out the noise. Running away cannot help. If he sees the same number, close your eyes as fast as possible to ignore the sound. Stay away from Dread 46.